Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday the 14th of November. So the wages report, the employment report, is grabbing the attention of the markets this morning for the UK. Let's just look at the possible other impact, and of course it's inflation this afternoon. So this morning, why the impact and maybe the tone being set, because we're back to watching inflation so closely. We didn't really move away from it too much, but if you look at this wage inflation, average earnings gone up to 7.9. Now it was 8.2 last, but it's still 0.5% higher than expected. This could well put pressure on, and we might see the inflation data when it comes out tomorrow slightly higher than expected, and that again puts pressure. I say puts pressure, but there's a higher likelihood of either interest rates staying the same for longer or being increased. So maybe one last increase before Christmas. It's what everyone needs, isn't it? Anyway, this afternoon, watch out for inflation again, but this time the core inflation from the US. Again, very, very key. Expected that it's falling year on year now. It's expected to be dropping to 3.3. Anything above that just feeds the hawks in terms of the reasons why they might have to put again one more interest rate increase before Christmas. So big day today in terms of inflation. Now, looking at the markets, let's start off with looking at the pound. The pound's put a bit of a pivot swing in there, swung around a little bit on the dailies. It closed towards the higher end of its day yesterday. It's broken through. It had a bit of a slowdown into its weekly pivot. Didn't give me what I was looking for earlier on in the day. It danced around, and it's now broken the pivot. So whereas yesterday I was looking for this pivot to sell off from, it's not happened. It's broken through. I'm safe. I'm not in the trade, but what I'm looking at potentially is further upside this morning. We'll see how it shapes, but let's come back to the let's go down to the hourlies here, and we've got here the daily pivot, the R1. If we see that touch broken, there's a chance that then 75% chance the R2 may get hit. So be interesting this morning. Now, of course, that US inflation, if it comes off weak again, it will feed the likes of the pound here to the upside. So that's in focus there. Let's look across at the pound, the euro even. The euro curving around here. It was an interesting day yesterday. We did get a reaction off the weekly pivot there. It only came back down towards the lows that we'd been seeing last week. Now, once again, it's pulled away from that level. So it suggests there's sufficient demand down there to drive this market, and again we've pushed through the weekly pivot, which would suggest we're heading upwards here. Similar to the pound, we haven't yet touched the pivot. If we get enough momentum through this morning, we could be driving into the R1 and then possibly the R2. Now, of course, we have got to consider the news is due out later on. If it doesn't start moving in the earlier part of the morning, sort of that 9-10 o'clock point, it could be well worth maybe just setting buy orders above post news for the post news trade. Okay, Aussie dollar. Oops, let's just look at the yen very briefly. If it all set up, that'd be good. There we go. So the yen briefly, it's yesterday it ran into the absolute highs. It's messing me around here now. It's like someone else is pressing my buttons. It's running towards the highs here. It's pretty okay. It's not particularly funny if it is. It ran into those weekly highs. Coming off a tad at the moment. Coming off a tad at this stage here. Just looking through, well, we could see a bigger correction. Again, I'm thinking ahead a little bit here. If the US inflation data doesn't come out so well, there could be a decent correction to these highs, but I think it's a patience job. You can see it's just weakening down. We did have that spike down yesterday in the afternoon there, but the buying came back in for the dollar. However, it's slowed up here and just erring on the slow side, but realistically it's still in a very big trend there, and should be patient and wait until things start giving me a better clue for the downside. Aussie dollar is following the sort of signs. It's got this pivot swing sitting here. I'm not overly bullish. The sentiment is quite soft for the Aussie. Now, what we're seeing here looks quite soft at the moment. I was waiting to see if we got the price action back to the weekly pivot. Hasn't done so far, and also when I'm looking at the lower time frame here, showing the weakness in this market, let's put a lower high in here. Now, things might change, drawn in by the pound and the euro buying. It might just see the dollar selling. It's strong enough to give it the oomph up there, but perhaps I'll stand away from that for now. If the markets do sell, it looks weak, and it could be a better selling point against such the dollar, for example. US dollar CAD, just really not going anywhere at the moment. It's still in a swing long effectively from last Monday when it turned around there. Tuesday onwards it's just been holding, so it's very close to this point up here where we've got more supply, it seems. New Zealand dollar, this is my favourite short side of things. It just needs to give a couple of opportunities. Now it's already it's very pinched. Yesterday it really moved very little. Perhaps if we get a bit more of a retracement, or it just starts breaking down, there's potential for a continuation to the downside. Sentiment on the New Zealand dollar from the bigger traders is very weak as well. They're piling into shorts effectively for the New Zealand dollar. So New Zealand dollar, US dollar may well see the result of that as well. So looking soft. Okay, cross pairs euro yen. Well, there just seems to be a non-stop here. We've got a lot of retail traders sitting there trying to short this market. My advice would be to keep out of it. Where are we? Is sentiment gone? There it is, current sentiment. I'll just show you the huge numbers that are sitting there. If I can get into brokers and just look at IG and just look at this situation on the Aussie dollar being bought without selling, obviously, and oops, that's it. US dollar yen and the euro yen. That they are actually, retail traders are selling these. They're selling. They've been buying the Aussie, selling the likes of the euro and the US dollar yen. They could be right at some point, but a stop clock's right twice a day, isn't it? Not probably sufficiently enough to make any money, of course. So I would avoid trying to step in the way of that at the moment and take any opportunities it might put up on the bullish side. It has run into triple tops here at the moment, but again, it needs to do something more significant. Euro pound, still chopping around at the moment. Double topped. Talked about this yesterday, that double top at the end of last week. It is just looking a little bit softer, particularly with the data out this morning. We're seeing the reaction to that. So lower highs, I was looking at this last Monday actually, and it never materialized. It really needs to come off further for me to look for more of a swing short on this, but it is coming off. Other pairs, I'm just going to look through these really quickly to see how they're doing. Euro Aussie still a candidate for upside, as is the Euro CAD, or has been the Euro CAD. not such an easy opportunity on this at the moment. It did sell off a bit deeper yesterday, which is not a bad thing, but not really giving me signals. I mean, we could be breakout trades onto these highs here, but not necessarily the best. Euro CAD, similar in terms of the price action this morning. It's pushed up here, taking out at least some of the highs, but it's just in the wrong place for me to be buying at the moment. It's right into tops, but I do like the potential of these going further. Okay, that's pretty much it. The pound pair is obviously positively affected. They've been running up anyway, but they've been positively affected by that stronger inflation, wage inflation still pushing up there. Okay, that's pretty much it on the Forex side of things there. Aside of that, then let's just have a look at gold. So gold, right, yes, yesterday got its reaction to its monthly pivot here. Now it's a flag shape, so it's really a case of waiting to see if this gets a bit more of a wiggle on. Now I was looking at the sentiment yesterday in just checking my sentiment updates, and gold is pretty positive. There's big monies running into gold. It's pretty positive, so given the right technical grounds here, and it's just a case of waiting for a higher low to come through, ideally breaking above this weekly pivot. I will be interested in looking for longs on this for more of a trade, so maybe a swing. So that's what I'm looking for on gold. It's on the short side for a while. Money still going out of oil, big money still going out of oil, but there is a significant risk with Middle East situation, which could spread further and cause cutbacks, reductions in supplies, etc., which obviously would see this push up strongly. But for now, just patient and waiting. But it does, on this side of things, it still looks pretty soft, and the big money again moving away from oil generally. Right, finally a couple of S&Ps hanging in there, literally. Little doji yesterday. You've got to look at where the value is of this. If the interest rates are going to be held higher for longer, it's not good normally for equity markets. The big money's moving back out, interestingly, whilst this is still hanging in there going up. Could be a sign of them reducing their positions here. Would need to see a breakdown of these lows here. Basically, the big money is going to go to where the potential earnings are, or the safety is, and we could at some stage, if the US inflation this afternoon holds up there tight, we could see quite a correction on this. Okay, other markets, the DAX is seeing the positive aspects, some positive aspects this morning. Not sure what they are, but certainly pushing up at this stage. Exclude the FTSE from that. Not looking so bright. Okay, I'm going to call it a day there. I wish you a great day's trading. I'll catch you on tomorrow morning. Take care. Bye for now.